All right, so we're in Create with Code lesson 3.1 of Unit 3. And so far we have our rigid body and box collider on our, oh good lord, oh yeah. Okay, so we have rigid body on box collider on our player, and we have the box collider on our obstacle. And now we're going to create our first script in this game. So let's go ahead and create our C#, or actually let's create a folder first. Please don't forget to create a folder for your scripts. It makes things nice and clean. And this is for your own best practices. So we have a folder for scripts, and then we're going to create a C# script. And we're going to call it, we are calling it, what are we calling it? Player controller. Of course we're calling it player controller. Okay, so one thing I do want to talk about, controller. Okay, one thing I do want to talk about is paying attention to how you name things, because the way you name things is going to be important. Because many times you will, in the code, you're going to reference things, and a lot of times when you have things in quotation marks in your code, that's, you're referencing something that you have named. So if you name player, check to see how you call it, how you named it. Is it capital P or lowercase p, or obstacles? How did you spell obstacles? Or your scripts. You might be referencing a script, and making sure that if something's not working right, double check to see how you spelled player controller. And you don't have to change the way you spell it, just change the way you reference it in your code. So again, I'm dyslexic, and so I spell things wrong all the time, which again, it's all cool. I'll quit putting myself down about that. Cause again, a lot of times it doesn't matter if it's not causing an error. If it's my own words that I'm using, or my own variables, it's all good as long as I continue to reference it that way. It actually makes it unique and makes it mine, and then I know someone's using my code. All right, so let's go ahead and open up this player controller. As long as I'm not leading you astray, right? Okay, so in this player controller, oh, actually, well, let's go in our code. Let's make sure we drop the player controller onto the player. Let's make sure that it's there. Yes, it's there. Yay, it's there. Okay, let's go. Now that it's open. Again, some people wonder why I use a white background on this, and I feel it's easier for you guys to see. And if I use the black background when I'm teaching, I think it makes it more difficult for you guys to see my screen. So that's why I use it. When I code, a lot of times I'll use the black, but I think it's easier for you to see when I'm teaching. So I use the white. We are going to start with this, and we're going to start to make the player jump. So once again, all variables go at the beginning of the class. So whenever you create a variable, we want to create at the beginning of the class, and we should understand this now. We want to actually get a hold of our rigid body. So this rigid body already exists, but we want to create a variable so we can actually control that rigid body. So we're going to make our private. We're going to grab something that already exists. So we want to make sure we reference our rigid body. So this variable is something that is we want to reference something that already exists, which is a rigid body. So we're saying, hey, let's get a rigid body, and we're going to call this in our code the name of this within our code, the variable. We're going to name it called player rigid body, just so we can reference it in our code, rigid body, because that way we can manipulate it in our code. So again, we are going to get a rigid body in the game on one of the objects, and we're going to reference it and manipulate it in this code with the variable that we're naming player rigid body. That's how we're going to manipulate it now. So it's like saying, hey, we got a person, and we want to control that person, and we're going to name it student, but we know that we're actually going to label you student, but we're going to actually but you really are a person. You have your own name, but we're going to put this label on you, and we're going to control you with it. So now we're going to go and get that. So down in the start, so because we want to do this throughout the whole game, not just every frame, we want to do this from the beginning of the game. We want to actually, what we're doing right here, sorry, we didn't explain this. We want this to actually like jump from when the game starts. And then we'll get this out of here later. So some people actually, this is a good problem here. So some people want to understand like, how do I stop this from jumping from the very beginning? Like, how do I get rid of that initial jump? And this is where this is. So we're going to get rid of this in a little bit because we want to control the jump. So this is, again, when you get going, you don't want it to jump again when you first start. So player rigid body, and please get in the habit of letting the computer finish your typing. So get component. So again, get component. I hit enter when it shows up. And again, we are using the carrots rigid body. So again, rigid, if I spell right, rigid body. And then that's telling it that it's getting a component. This saying is it's a component that the parentheses are saying, hey, we're going to go out and get a component. Okay. And this is the component that's going to go get. We're going to go get the component on what we put it on. We're going to get the rigid body of the component that we put it on. So we put it on to player. So we're going to get that player's rigid body. So player rigid body and dot add force. We're going to add force to it. Add force. Oops. Dot force. Add explosion. No. Add force. So if you notice, there's a lot of things that you can add to something, which is kind of cool. Add force. Let me go ahead and start that again, because I want the computer to add it for me. If you let the computer add it for you, it kind of helps to make the computer connect with it, or the coding connect with it. Vector 3 dot, and so we want to go up. So here again, we want to go up. Vector 3 up. So we have 3 different directions for vector 3: up, right, and up, right, and front, forward, up, right, forward. Yeah, I don't know. It's early. It's a morning. This is a morning recording. And we're going to go 1,000. So this is like the force of 1,000. We're going to change that in a little bit. Okay, so if I hit save and I go out and run this, this should just jump up into the sky. It says I start. And it starts, and oh, no, it did not go. Why did it not go? Why did it not go? And rigid body. So what do I have here? So I have player rigid body, component rigid body, and force vector 3 up, add force rigid body, and it is on my player. I have it on my player. It is on my player. Why did it not go? Is it because I'm using gravity? Let's get rid of gravity. Let's try this. Okay, let's get rid of gravity. It could be that I have a lot of mass on it right now. There we go. Okay, so I get rid of the gravity, and it's a force of 1,000. So the reason it's not going up really fast is because I've used a mass that's larger. So I'm going to use a larger force than he has here. So I'm going to use my force of like 3,000, just because I'm going to increase my force, just because I want to show you that we might need a little bit of more legs on this. So yay. So again, this force is like kind of slow. It's floating in the sky. All right. So we have that, and she is floating up there slowly. So when you use this, again, I took the gravity out. I probably should have told you not to use the gravity. So remove that gravity for right now. We're going to put that back on again because we want to be able to press that button and have her jump. Let's see what we have next. The next thing, we're going to make it jump with the space bar. So in the next one, we are going to go in and actually get rid of this line here. And in this one here, let's go ahead and comment outline 12. And so we're not going to use that here because we really don't want it to jump right away. We want to get the rigid body in the start, yes, but we don't want it to jump right away. So we're not going to add this force right away, but we want to be able to say, if I hit the space bar, then I want it to jump. So let's go ahead and we're going to add an impulse instead. So instead of just a force like this little force, we want to add an impulse. So we want to say impulse on the space bar. So in this one, we're going to say an if input dot get key down. So I hope that as we're working through this, that you are actually pausing the video and doing this as I do it. So get key down. And then we're going to get the key code dot space. Now, you know what? I didn't do this the way I normally do. Normally, I do my if, complete my if, my parentheses, and then I do my curly brackets. And most of you probably know that by now. So I wouldn't have forgotten to do, so I do my if, I type if, I do my parentheses, and then I do my curly brackets. So I don't forget to do these, because it's so often that I'll do this and I'll forget to actually create this. So if, parentheses, curly bracket, then I go back in and I do what the if is, and then what's going to happen in the if. So in this, what's going to happen when I hit the space bar is I want the player rigid body, add force, and when I add the force, what do I want to do? So when I add my force, I want to do that vector 3. So I probably could have copied and pasted what was up above in here, but I want it to be a vector 3 dot up, vector 3 up. And I want it to be multiplied by, remember that's going to be like 3,000. And we're actually going to add a variable and place that for just a minute. And then this time I want to do a force mode impulse. So force mode impulse. I kind of knew what I wanted. I didn't have to search for that. And remember to end your line of code with the semicolon. So let's go ahead and save that. And we're going to put a variable here instead of 3,000 in a minute. So let's go ahead and still in play. Let's see what happens now. So if I hit the space bar, woo, goodness, that's really, that was a lot. So 3,000 was a lot. And he goes flying into the sky. Hello, are you there? Are you coming back down? Maybe I want to use gravity. Let's try using gravity this time. So let's use gravity, see if she comes back down. Okay, let's try this. Are you coming back down? Hello, are you coming back down? You should be coming back down sometime because I use gravity. And there she goes. All right. Okay, so one pulse up. Let's go and change that back to 1,000 and see what happens. 1,000. Let's try this one more time. It's kind of fun. All right. So let's see. Down. So 1,000 still is a lot, right? She's way up there. All right. So even with the 68, let's go and change this back to 100 like you did. Let's change this to 100. Oh, I make sure I'm saving it. I probably didn't save this last time. Let's change it to 100 and see what happens. Oh, just a little hop. It's like I'm up on my heels. Let's see what happens if I change it to maybe 500 and save. Let's see what that works. Play. All right, 500 is pretty good. So we have 500. That looks pretty darn good. All right, we're gonna stop it there, and that is we're gonna stop right there. The next thing we're going to do in our next video is tweak the jump force, and we're gonna add a gravity modifier, and we're gonna prevent double jumping. So that's what we're gonna do in our next video. So let's go ahead and stop right there.